Dweeb. Give me a bump. Ah, yay.
I'm going back to the Stone Age, guys. I'm ripping everything out. I've got my family moving back in. Money's getting tighter. Family, it's getting tight for them too. So mom, brothers, they're moving back in, and we're converting the entire house back to a house. And I am converting the garage into, well, a biodome. And you're going to see exactly what I've been doing. Now, I've been at it for like 2 weeks. I've been really busy with it. This is like the first recording in a couple weeks. And I'm moving all my things out there. So it's Stone Age living for sure. You're going to see I built a wood burning stove. So that's all custom. And I'm close to the animals. I've got these new ideas coming to mind of things I can do to build onto these systems. And out there, I put plastic up. It's not insulated, the garage, and that's a thing, so it doesn't hold heat as well as it could if it was insulated. But with the wood burning stove that you'll see that it will likely be more than enough to keep it warm in there. We're going to convert the entire house back to standard living room, and that means ripping everything up, pulling it out. The wood burning stove I installed will stay for them. And I'll take all the things that I need out there. The walls are going to get painted. That's happening today. They're going to paint and remod the entire thing, put down a new floor in the kitchen, and paint everything. And it'll all look really nice for them. I'm not living in the same home because, well, I live a different lifestyle than they do. They use a lot of the toxic shit that I don't use, and I can't be around that at all. So I'm going into the back, essentially, and I'm going to be left alone to farm. That's what I want to do. I want to get my food systems complete to where I'm 100% closed loop in all of my food production. Nothing else matters. If I can make just enough money doing my business, paying half and half on this rent with my family, that's really good, and then I can sustain buying feed and adding on to projects here and there, getting things, tools that are needed, and everything's more sustainable. I've got a door here, door here, door here, Velcro. Allows me to access the chickens, the rabbits, and I have chickens over here as well. Grow room now set up. It's all plastic off like a bubble boy. And water filtration. Wood burning stove back there. It pipes out through the window. I built it out of bricks, and I have my cooking station. I'm getting better burners. Gonna paint that door, put plastic up too to stop the drafts on that door. The plastic is everywhere it needs to be to stop the drafts. Stops the drafts on the garage door. It's not insulated like a house is, so it does get colder than a house does, but I have the wood burning stove for when it gets really cold. And I'm about to wrap up building that. It's almost done. I'll show you more of that later on here. And these heaters hold heat. The ground is cement slab. I have my animals down here, the ducks, and they have boxes where they're laying their eggs. And the rabbit runs up its ramp and into this nesting box where there's babies now, kits. I'll show you those. You see the rust on the corner. Once I paint this door, it's going to look nice once that's gone. And then the plastic, I have something there now to stop the draft because there's a bit of a draft there. So everything's set up now like shop. I'm going to put a piece of wood over here. This is an old folding table, and that'll cover the damage on that and make it look nicer. And then over here I'm going to put a monitor for my camera system to monitor the property. And I'm so close to my food. I was in here first night last night, and I notice, you hear the little sounds the animals make. It's all quiet in here. And, I've got, 30-something chickens, 40 chickens. There's got to be 15 rabbits, and there's another nest of baby rabbits in there now. And so there's just 20, 30 rabbits. Where's my boy? My boy's running around here somewhere, too. I was never cut out for indoor life. And this is nicer too. I got my family back here. They're here moving in, and half the rent. I'm not rich. I'm like a poor boy farmer. But if you haven't noticed, I'm rich. So work at it and keep at it, and then at some point I'll scale up properly. And conserving this money right now, having them move back in. You seen the price of eggs? I don't have to worry about that because I just pop that open right there with the Velcro and the plastic. I go in there and I pick out about 2.5 dozen, and then I come right over here, crack them and cook them. What I'm about to do next is I'm going to build it's going to be like a post, and I'm going to put a kill cone, and I'm going to be able to stick it in these pots and harvest the chicken in here. I cut the big pepper plant, and I brought in, I have still the little one, the second generation of it, and it's down there with one red pepper on it. The lemon tree, they look to be doing good. The avocado trees, the leaves wilted up a little bit, bringing them out here, and that's okay. It looks like they might be okay still. It's a little colder in here. It's like 61 degrees right now, but it's got to be like 30 something degrees outside. I figure if it dips down to like 10 or 0 outside, then it will get pretty damn cold in here. It might go down to around freezing. We'll have to have that stove fired up. The next 9 days it's going to still be a little warm, so we got a reprieve. It's like summer when it should be winter out there right now. And entering times of extremes, I figure why not adapt and get close to my food. It sounds important. Grow my own food so I don't have to eat the mRNA. Food preps all stored up along the wall. I've got a bunch of buckets, all my stuff still inside in a room, and I got my bed here. I've got ideas for the chickens, for the rabbits, to build feeders and put them so I can fill them the water and the food from out here. Grow rooms. I'm considering each of these areas growing room. I'm going to move my bugs in still that are inside downstairs. I'm going to bring those in and put them in here in a way where they can be safe with their heat mats, and they can be among the animals. So they're out of my limited way in here. The rest of the area. And then Bertley. That's Bertley. Dude, it's so quiet at night. Last night, they was just, here and there was a little creak or a crack from an animal making a little noise, but they're all quiet. Shh. Sleep time. It's such a beautiful feeling. You just got to experience sleeping among the animals like this. It's absolutely wild. Keeping this and optimizing all that I can in here. Put lights back there even, and grow some things up high where the rabbits don't go. There's a higher up bench up there where I could put lights even and put some plants back there. Here with my food now. Weed out even consuming things that I buy in bulk. I can simplify or don't eat it. Like tonight I ate eggs and a squash. Peeled the squash and sliced it up, fried it up, cooked up eggs on there, and ate that up with a little bit of runny yolk and salt and pepper, and delicious. Absolutely delicious. Whole meal filled my belly. And meats, I've got kits now. Bunch of rabbits. I haven't even checked that nest in there, but it's got a bunch in there right now. And then there's a nest over here which has 10 of them with mama rabbit, this baby right here, and she has babies in there, and they're little, and they're the cutest thing in the world. I'll show you those. And perhaps a few of those will become sustenance, and that's the way. The duck meat is amazing. There's a bunch of ducks running around, flapping around out there, and then I got these 3 mamas. These are my dweebs. That's what I call them. You should hear me. They're my dweebs. And they were guarding the hall for a few days before I came out here. I called them the guardians of the hall. Every time the dogs would come by, they would go and just like nip at the dogs. And as they were crossing through the hall, I got used to it. They're used to it now. I mean, we're here. I'm excited for it all. It's going to be beautiful. This is going to be set up when seed starting comes up. It's going to be set up with seeds and starts and all kinds of cool little stuffs in here. Keep it minimal, but keep it optimal. Keep everything growing and see how it all changes and adapts to the slighter dip in temperature. It's interesting to watch with like some of the pepper plants as the leaves kind of shrivel up a little bit, curl up, but they're not dying. But like the same with the avocados, just a little bit. I think that they'll bounce back. I'm hoping so anyway. The lemon tree doesn't seem to really have taken as much of an effect. The aloe veras I'm feeding to the chickens, the ducks can eat them, not rabbits, because that can mess up their digestion. But aloe vera for the chickens and the ducks. So I'm slicing it up and throwing it in there for them and letting them eat a bunch of that, because they grew huge. They still are huge. There's so much of them, and I can definitely trim them up this way and really offset some food, and I'm sure add major nutrition to them, and then in turn to me. I've got a buddy who buys my eggs for $7 a dozen right now. He's awesome. Old school friend from back in the day. Lifelong friend. Went to school with. He's on a raw diet, and he buys them, all of them, like 9-10 dozen at a time, and it's wonderful. Deal with one person you can trust. You don't got to deal with a bunch of people coming around. And that's a great. Once I have rabbit meat and chicken meat, he will also buy that because he's into the white meat, raw meat diet. And greatness. So I'm working on getting my numbers up. And it's just a matter of time at this point. Like, I'm sustainable. This is sustainable for me. You want to see what's going to be the golden nugget? Well, there's the golden nugget. You want to be wealthy? Here you go. There you go. There's your wealth. I got some silver around here too. That fiat, kiss that shit goodbye. It's going to be hilarious watching all these people with bank accounts and their life of vanity and immorality. It's going to be funny watching them lose it all and cry and not have any food to eat and eat each other after 3 days. I'll be tucked away. Maybe I'll get eaten too, though. You never know with how crazy things get. If I don't have a bunker dug underneath this bitch by later on this year, and maybe I won't make it either. It is a winter wonderland out there right now. You've got to see this. That's a giant, a Flemish giant. And then this one is a cross of a couple different breeds, which has a group of kits here. And you got to see this for yourselves. The snow is a few inches now, and I just put this hose in their pool, and that's gonna fill down here. It's doing that now. And they're hanging out. They have these couple of mounds they like to stand on. The Muscovies, and their tunnel leading to where their food is at, their water. Keep a dish. There's no light on there right now. It's not that cold out here. I unplugged it. If it gets really cold again, I may turn it on to give them the option. Look at the way the snow looks sitting on the fencing. And then this net hanging over where I have another group of Muscovies. They're back there, and I filled their pool a little earlier, and that looks so wicked. The pond, the pit, projects for the spring. Wow. Look at this enclosure here for the rabbit tunnel, bucket tunnel system. It's so weighed down, but it's okay. You guys seeing this? The video? The beating. I think this is staged. I think this is all theater. I don't know though. Who knows? But to me it seems hyperbolic. Like, just too much. The cops are all black. They're all gang talk. Like, kick to the face. Did you see that? Kick to the face.
He was saying something like, I'm
I
trying
don't
to get
know,
home,
man.
I'm not doing anything.
It all seems
And
too
then
convenient, doesn't it?
Within like
My oven and my stove got the food production built right in. Eggs down there, rabbits in here. In this section, this is rabbits. Get them. I brought my bugs in. Those are those bins there full of roaches. So you see I have the fans that pump the air and keep it under a vacuum run out the window. And there's another one back down there pumping out. So there's two of them that keep it under its vacuum. More bugs down and in here. And I'm still getting situated with things here and there. So nothing's ever really done. It's all getting adjusted, rearranged, added to. And now chickens and ducks, they run off a photo period where if they have enough light in the day, say like 16 hours is pretty much ideal, then they will continue to lay. You keep them fed. I cut my feed with other ingredients like a 4-to-1 type of thing. A scoop of the chicken feed, and then half a scoop of the peas, and then a couple scoops each of the barley and the rice, and that goes in to make the mix of feed that I feed to them. Using up preps and getting things that I can buy in bulk for cheaper, that's a way to do that. And then I give them their eggshells to supplement calcium that they might not get enough of because I'm cutting their feed up. So they have that, and I'm getting optimal egg production right now, like 3 dozen eggs a day. So on top of the chicken eggs, I'm getting like 3 duck eggs. And that's a big deal for me. I love all of that. That's amazing. It's a gold, it's money in the bank. Sell whatever I don't eat, money in the bank. And keep them fully producing during the winter here with the light on. In the winter time, naturally, they would stop laying. They do their molt, stop laying, because they don't get enough daylight hours. But then springtime, summertime comes rolling back around. It's lighter longer, and they start laying again. So if you're going to do that for them in the winter and keep them laying, probably ideal to let them molt first. At the end of the fall into winter, they'll do their molting where they'll shed their feathers to get new ones for the winter, to fluff up more for the cold, and then you can bring the light back on them. Might be the ideal way to do it, or let them go dormant through the winter and stop laying if you want to do that. I need production. I want production. They are all jumping around in there, happy and healthy as can be. Threw the rabbits a fresh flake of hay. There's a nice little nest of baby kits in this box right here. Right there in the back of it. I'm not sure who they belong to. One of the silver fox. You can see the silver in their fur. That's a silver fox, the brown. The broken ones, the red one, that white one. That white one's a cross, but those are New Zealand's. Even that broken one there. Bigger mama there. The black and white broken one is a male. Pure New Zealand. They're all living together now. I want them to produce numbers, and this is easier to have one colony. I'm not so much worried about breed. I want large rabbits. I'm transitioning even into getting large giant breeds of rabbits, like my Flemish out here. She's right there. Oh, look at that baby. What are you doing, little? Damn. That's the first one to come out and explore like that. A lot of solid gray in the pattern of that one. I know which one it is. It's the largest too, I think, and I'm likely gonna hold on to that baby. That's an adventurous little fella. A lot like mama, which is her. The gray one there on the right. They've got boxes. I'm gonna go in there and probably build a couple more, few more in this section down over here where I have the wood burning stove that I built, and then the fan out the window. Both of those go out the window there, and I'm gonna chamber this off and build more nesting areas, hides for the rabbits and all, so that the housing will keep up with the colony size as it grows, because there's a bunch more coming in, and then I have more kits all right here, 9 of them, and I'm going to keep a lot of them for increasing the scale of my operation here. And then the chickens. I'm going to do a brooding project with Mr. Dooster and some hens over here in this third area. that's the chickens, this is the rabbits, and then that's my next project is to do the chicken brooding. When I notice brooding hens, I'm going to put them in there with nice boxes, and then the rooster. So I'm waiting to notice. They are jumping up through the rafters once in a while, because I got to finish fencing them off with chicken wire up top here in the garage rafters, so they don't jump up in a couple spots and hop over into other enclosures. They do it. And a couple did it and came in here and put eggs. With the rabbits, I have about 15 full-grown rabbits, and then I've got these 20, I'm guessing 20. I want to say there's 11 in that nest. I didn't even look at it yet. I have to open the top, and I don't want to open the top and disturb it at all. I want to just leave it be, wait till they come jumping out of there. And then the rabbits that I have over here with this mama out here in this hutch, I know 9 are in there, and they're getting big. And once they started jumping out of the nesting box, I went ahead and put hay and a water tray in there so they can start to learn and have access to the food and that water there. So they're less dependent on the mother, but still get the mother because she's a good mama. She goes back in the box. Rabbits once a day, rarely twice a day, will they nurse their kits. So if you don't see them hopping in and out of there all the time, don't just think they're a bad mother. They could be going in there when you sleep. That's literally what Google said when I typed it in, like, how often do rabbits nurse? They're like, don't worry, it's nature. They only go in there once, twice, maybe. And so she's been doing that, doing really good with them. For 5 to 10 minutes is what the average is when the rabbits are nursing. And there's 9 babies, so they're weaning off of her and onto the water dish. And they don't want to jump out of this cage, I noticed, really, or aren't as adventurous past their box because they have the water. I think that's what they're looking for. Water and food, they're starting to forage. And it's right there, so they're not trying to run away from the nest area. Chickens, so my Velcro door. Waters from all these pots. What I'm doing is I am taking the water after the soak of these ingredients that I'm cutting the feed with, and I'm using that water to water the pots. Same thing with any old water of the chickens or the rabbits. I'll splash it off into these pots, even manure and things that will go right into these pots because it's grow rooms right next door to chickens. And then the chickens have their table here, and this table I put here so the rabbits wouldn't get up here to get at chicken feed because it's bad for the rabbits, but there's no longer rabbits in here, so this isn't entirely necessary, but they still like it, and I still have it for its utility. They know how to use it now. If I ever want to put rabbits back in here, there's a nesting box in there. They put eggs here under in this hutch. They put eggs. I didn't even collect yesterday, so there's probably a lot under her right now. And then there's a couple nesting areas behind this. And I have calcium feeder on behind this. Right there onto the behind this. A couple boxes there with a bunch of eggs in there. Mama's popping her head out. You still have access to the yard. Come on, Bert. Back in there. They're bedding. I'm going to go ahead and throw down more hay that is all picked through. I'm kind of using that as the bedding everywhere and for the nesting boxes. After the rabbits pick what they really like out of the hay, the next day I'll come in and grab what's left and stuff boxes and nesting areas for the rabbits and laying areas for the chickens. And then down here I'll throw more down to keep the bedding fresh and let it build up over this winter. And then I'll throw it in the compost here. I don't know, in the next month or so. Seal this back up. Bert's got a crow collar on, so he doesn't get that loud. He gets a little noise, but really it's muffled all inside here. He doesn't go outside, and there's no noise that reverberates outside really at all. I mean, if you're up close to the garage, you could probably hear Bert, but other than that, it's it. See, it's not loud at all. You gotta watch with those crow collars. Some people don't agree because you can kill the chicken. Understandably, you got to watch for their comb. If it goes blue, then they're starting to get choked out. And the idea of the crow collar is it restricts the neck area that opens up to make that noise. So it's a choking in a way. You do what you have to do at a certain level if you want to have the redundancy of having the rooster and having him around with the hens. So I'm doing what I have to do. I'm keeping a close eye on Bert because I love him. So he's been great with it. And I know about where it needs to be. I can definitely get a good feel for it now. In the reports about the chicken feed, Tractor Supply's brand that is causing the birds to not lay, likely it's being poisoned. There's an agenda afoot. A lot of you watching this video probably understand or hear all about the New World Order's agenda to depopulate and bring in cashless society, make sure everybody is dependent on their system with the digital dollar, all that stuff, inject you with technology, you know, control you, track you, trace you, everything. Show me your papers. Well, okay, so they want you to not have self-sufficiency. They're poisoning your flock. Those brands have soy in them, non-organic, so they're toxic anyway. That could just be the reason they're not laying. Maybe too many pesticide, herbicide. Get organic feed. Even the organic feed that they sell at Tractor Supply is laced with soy. You got to go to New Country Organics. That's an online retailer. There's also local stores, look it up, that sell their feed. I found a guy, so I can buy it by the bag here in town. I don't have to order the totes or the feed from the company, and I can still support the company and the local business. So getting clean feed too that's organic, and I can trust it not to be poisoned, laced with chemicals that are going to kill my birds. Who knows what kind of generational effects all of this shit has on everything. What you're eating out there, all the trash you might consume still. Once in a while you think, oh, it's not so bad. Yes, one time, one exposure can ruin your entire life. Now, I mean, can put some shit in you that you will never be able to reverse. Now's the time to do it 100%, or you're going to just die off. I don't almost have no sympathy, but I do, because I love humanity and the human race. I'm glad I exist, so I do care. It's just people have been really dumbed down and left complacent under psychosis, so they don't see it themselves, and it's all part of the vicious cycle of it all, and that's the effect. So don't buy that feed from the Tractor Supply anymore, from any of these box stores, because, well, somewhere along the line, higher-ups are getting instruction that you gotta put this ingredient in the feed now, and now everybody's birds are being poisoned and you're not getting egg production. I mean, it fits, it's fitting, burning down all of the food processing facilities and calling all the birds saying they have a flu. Nope. The air might be toxic that they're breathing. The water you're giving them, all the food they're feeding them might be toxic as shit. So I guess with a PCR test, you could probably bring up whatever information you need to. If that's what they're using, whatever, it's all a scam, I'm sure. It's just to find one, kill millions, leave you paying more until it's not available, and then the freak out happens. But it'll be perfectly timed where the breakdown of society will be happening, as well as a world war, and all the deaths from the injections, all of it will be happening all at once, with earth changes from freaking Nibiru or whatever, and then everything is total chaotic, and they get the die-off rate that they are looking to achieve, and then they can scrape everybody back together after it all is over, throw you into a super city, or take your head off with a guillotine if you don't agree. Or maybe get left alone. Hopefully that's a better outlook. Let's look at that. Hopefully we can get left alone, or you got to try really hard to do whatever you can do to wiggle your way into staying alive and holding on to your sovereignty, your autonomy. Interesting world we're headed into, isn't it?